with Tracy in LA.
We're here.
Ailish didn't even let me introduce it. She's such a host. I feel like she should host this, actually.
No.
Today we have Ailish Hill.
Hi.
Which is cool because I feel like I know so little about Ailish's full dance story, so I'm super excited to hear it. I kind of feel like I'm just here ready to hear your story. But Ailish and I originally met, I believe, just through Dancing Disciples, which is an organization that hosts these free... Well, I'm actually so curious about this now that we're talking about this. So
open up the can of worms. We'll jump right in.
Dancing Disciples hosts free Christian, usually hip hop, but sometimes other styles. Yeah, mostly hip hop. Every other Friday, first and third Fridays.
First and third.
At Evolution Studios in North Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And that's been awesome. And I found that on Instagram and started going to that. That's where I first met Ailish. But it was a long time before I realized there was another organization that did the same, almost the same exact thing on the other Fridays.
Yep.
It took a while before someone was like, oh, yeah, and then there's the one that's on the other Fridays. And I was like, huh?
There's more?
Very confused that there's another organization that does the same thing with free classes on Friday nights on the other Fridays.
Yes.
And that is the organization, even though I met Ailish at Dancing Disciples, she is actually with, it's called One Movement. Mm-hmm. And they host the opposite Fridays, basically. Yep. So can you tell me, how did this happen where you guys, because then you're all kind of friends.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
So
I'll just jump right in because she's like, I don't even know where to go from here. There's so much. Okay. So Dancing Disciples is how we met. Charlene Quigley is the founder of Dancing Disciples nonprofit. I've known Charlene for 20 years. Actually, longer than that.
Oh.
Probably closer to like 22 or 23.
Wow.
We're giving away our age there.
Charlene was also on the podcast.
Yes, she was.
So check that out.
So Charlene and I have known each other for a very long time. I lead dance ministry at One LA, which is the dance ministry is called One Movement. And so we host our classes every second and fourth Friday of the month. They're free open level community classes. They vary from hip hop to lyrical contemporary, occasionally a salsa night. But the majority is hip hop and contemporary. So we have ours on the second and fourth Fridays of every month. Dancing Disciples, once Charlene started that nonprofit a couple years ago, I don't know how long it's been, 2 years now, I've lost track of time.
Something like that, I think.
She decided to host it opposite us, so first and third Fridays of the month.
Oh, so you guys had already been doing that.
We've been
doing
it.
For a while.
Yeah.
For how long?
So, the community classes, I would say, primarily since coming back from the pandemic, once everything started to open up and start to function in person again, that's been our focus. So the dance ministry has been around since like 2011, which is when I started going to One LA.
And One LA is a church.
Yeah, One LA is a church. Potter's House, One LA. If anyone's familiar with the Potter's House in Dallas, we are technically under the umbrella of Potter's House.
And Potter's House is a church.
Yeah, in Dallas. Bishop T.D. Jakes, Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Okay. I've heard of them, yes.
Connect the dots.
Okay.
Yeah. So if anybody's heard of the Potter's House in Dallas or Bishop T.D. Jakes, we are under the umbrella of the Potter's House.
Okay.
Dallas, which that's a whole nother story because that was not always the case.
Okay.
We were originally just One Church International.
Oh.
When PT Pastor Torrey Roberts founded 22 years ago.
Oh. And where is One LA?
I have ADHD, so you'll hear me jumping back and forth between
totally fine.
between topics.
What One LA, where is it located?
One LA is in Hollywood by Pink's Hot Dogs off of La Brea and Melrose.
Oh, I didn't know that's where it was.
In like an old theater. That's our building.
Oh, very cool.
They've been in that building since end of 2012. So I started going to one in 2011 when we were in North Hollywood in a very old, small, very hot church building that they rented out. And then they got the bigger building over in Hollywood in like 2012, I believe.
Okay.
And I've been leading dance ministry there since, I always forget what year it was, but it's been over 10 years.
Did you, when you started going there, was there already a dance ministry or did you create that?
So a good friend of mine, Michael Wilson, him and like two other people had started the ministry. So when I started going there in 2011, it technically didn't exist yet. They were doing this red scarf production for Christmas. It was like, we've always had a lot of artists and creatives, so we have the dancers, the actors, the singers, all the things. So I did the red scarf Christmas production with them in 2011, and then that was kind of around the time that Michael and everybody was like, okay, we're going to actually like form a dance ministry because we have so many dancers at the church.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of became that. And
you were going there during that time?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So
then
then-
there were, we've had different leaders over the dance ministry over the years. I've been a part of the dance ministry and leading the dance ministry for over 10 years. And we've actually had our friend Antoine, my friend Antoine Collier, who's teaching tonight. That's whose class we're about to go to. Also used to co-lead with me for a couple years.
Okay.
So he's actually like OG One Movement dance ministry leader.
Oh, wow.
Fun fact.
That's so cool. And so when did you guys decide you wanted, like, well, not when, because you said when, it was like after the pandemic, but what made you guys decide to want to start the community classes?
We've always focused on having community classes, but they were not consistent. So we would have them kind of randomly because the dance ministry looked a lot different before the pandemic. For a good chunk of years while I was leading, there was a pretty consistent group of people that were a part of it. We never had like auditions or anything. We just would go through different seasons of having a particular group of like 15 to 20 dancers that were a part of it on a regular basis. We used to meet like twice a week and have like rehearsal and class or whatever we were working on at the time. So it's looked different over the years, but now our primary focus is on the open community classes, building up the community, connecting with people that way. And then we'll dance and minister at the church on occasion, like every couple months or Easter, Christmas, whatever.
So you don't have like necessarily the twice a week meetings at the church anymore.
No,
it's more
we
like...
only do the open community classes and then we'll get into rehearsals if we're doing a piece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And when you first started leading it, was that something you were like so excited to do and jumped up to
Never
do?
Never thought in a million years I would be leading a dance ministry.
Really?
I've actually done like interviews on this in the past with people. This has come up multiple times. I never ever thought that I would be leading a dance ministry. I didn't grow up in the church like that. That's a whole other story. We won't even dive into that. I really have been going to church since 8th grade probably.
Okay.
I started going to a Baptist church when I was younger with a friend of mine because I wanted to hang out with my friends. And then I got saved, and here we are. But what was I saying? Okay, so dance ministry, so many things. My brain is all over the place.
Yeah, so did you never thought you would lead a dance ministry?
Never thought I would lead it. Michael and a couple other people were leading at the time, the first couple years. He was like, hey, I think you should pray about stepping into leadership. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. And he's like, pray about it. And I said, okay. And, lo and behold, God had other plans.
Wow. So... Now, have you felt pretty confirmed as you've done it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, yes, this is definitely where I'm supposed to be.
Absolutely. It's been ups and downs. We're human. We have our moments and our seasons of like, Lord, why did you put me here? Why am I doing this? But the majority of the time, it's been a huge blessing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Aw, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So right now, first of all, I have not experienced the teacher that we are about to take tonight.
No, you're going to love it.
That you've known forever, and I am excited.
Yes.
The training, really, you guys got to come to these free classes because the training is so good. They always bring in really good teachers through both of the organizations on Friday nights, and I'm just like, why are there not even more people taking advantage? I mean, a lot of people do come, for sure.
Yeah.
But, anyone can come. Highly recommend. But, okay, so obviously you're doing that, but I want to know, like, just, like, what your life looks like right now. Like, what's your day-to-day? What are you doing with that or outside of that?
Yeah. So I moved, I'll kind of go back a little bit because it'll bring us back to, like, where we are right now.
Okay.
I'm 41 years old.
Nice.
I moved out here to LA in 2003 when I was 18 to pursue the dance industry.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go to college. LA was my college. I was like full-time taking class.
And you moved from where?
I was born in Illinois. Grew up in Arizona.
I was born in Illinois.
Born as in like we moved when I was 1.
Okay.
So I was born in Carbondale, Illinois.
Okay.
Grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona, primarily for my childhood. My dad took a job in Virginia Beach, end of sophomore year of high school for me, middle of high school. So that's a whole nother story. Moved across the country in the middle of high school, finished high school in Virginia Beach, was dancing at a studio out there. I've been dancing since I was 3, and a year after high school, my dad took a job after I graduated high school. My dad took another job in Houston, Texas, outside of Houston. And I came out to LA the summer of 2003 and did Millennium Summer Intensive.
Okay.
So I was staying in their dorms, their pool house.
Yes, I've heard of these.
The pool house dorms for the whole summer.
How was that for you? Do you remember it vividly?
Oh, I remember it very much so. Honestly, great. Like, all of my memories of it are great. I'm sure there were probably some like weird things or downsides, but the majority of it I remember being great.
Okay.
We had a pool house with bunk beds. Whoever was there for either the whole summer or for a week or two or for half the summer, a lot of them, if they were doing the summer intensive, signed up and like stayed in the dorms. And that was a whole experience because you literally get up, you go to ballet, you might take another class, then go to lunch, then come back, and you're just dancing all day.
Yeah.
That was my life.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And then I moved in the fall out here. A friend of mine from Virginia Beach had a good friend that lived in LA.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, just get in touch with them in case, because they knew I was like thinking about moving to LA. Just get in touch with them just to connect with somebody. So I called them, I think I left them 2 voicemails over the summer while I was here. Never heard back. The day before I'm supposed to fly home, quote unquote, which is now Texas, which I didn't grow up there.
Yeah.
She calls me back and she's like, hey, so sorry. Oh my God, things are crazy. I heard you're like potentially trying to move out here. And I was like, yeah. She's like, we are actually looking for a roommate. I'm like, oh, great. So the short story is I packed up my bags and suitcases and moved to LA 2 weeks later.
Because you were still out here, but then
I was
you have to
still in
go
LA.
home and get all your
I
stuff?
did fly home the
Okay.
next day on my flight that I was supposed to fly home.
Okay.
Basically just packed up my life or everything I needed at the time and then moved back like a week or 2 later.
Wow.
That was that.
And the intensive you had just done was a few months, or how long?
It was
that?
over the course of the summer. So
Okay.
how like 2.5, 3 months,
Okay.
whatever that was.
And did you have any plan for money, or you were just like,
Nope.
we'll see how it goes?
I'm very fortunate. My parents have always been super supportive of me.
Okay.
I know that's not everyone's story, but even with me choosing not to go to college at the time, I'm like, it's there if I want to go later.
Yeah.
I chose not to go to college. My parents supported me as if I was like going to college. They helped me with rent and everything. I eventually, moved here, got a job, a part-time job, but was in class like it was my job, not getting paid for
Yeah.
that. Fun fact also, at the time when I moved here, Millennium's unlimited monthly classes. Are you ready for this? Do you want to know how much it costs?
Yeah,
Have you heard this?
Charlene said it. But
It's
say
like
it again.
$99 a month, $199 a month.
Charlene talked about that on her podcast too. We're like,
Wild.
let's get them to go back to that. I was like, if they go back to that, there would be 10 million
They would
people in
lose.
their classes.
They would also lose so much money.
Yeah.
But at the time, unlimited classes at Millennium monthly. I had a monthly unlimited $99 a month.
Wow.
So
so-
that was my job
You were just dancing all the time.
all the time.
And you had enough money because your parents were kind of helping and whatever.
Yeah. My parents are not rolling in the dough like that, but they were able to help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. Were you just like loving every second of that?
I loved it. I'm like, can you just pay me to like dance full
Just
time?
do this.
Like
Yeah.
take class full time, and
Yeah.
I've always loved taking class.
Yeah.
So that's always just been a thing.
Did
But yeah,
you
so
have
that
a
was back in
favorite
2003.
style that you did mostly? Hi everyone, Tracy in LA here. I just want to take a moment to talk to you guys about donations. If you've been liking either of my podcasts, Tracy in LA, the podcast that's about my personal life, or Dance Journey podcast, where I interview dancers and try to help dancers connect more with each other by sharing their stories and being authentic and encouraging and inspiring each other. If you're liking either of these podcasts, please consider donating. You can Venmo me at Tracy in LA, TracyInLA, just like my Instagram. I've been doing these podcasts I've been doing Dance Journey for a couple years now. I started the personal one a few months ago, and I love doing them. I feel called to do both of them for different reasons, but it does take a lot of time, the editing, the planning, the preparing, the shooting of them. And I have gone through all of my savings since I quit my corporate job a couple years ago, and I've just been relying on odd jobs here and there, people letting me live with them in exchange for taking care of their pets and organizing their house and things like that. And it's been amazing. God's been providing for me, but a lot of it is from people giving. So I just want to be a little more direct and open to telling you guys that I would love, if you are listening to these and enjoying them, if you could give financially. That would be so helpful for me to keep going. Please Venmo Tracy in LA, or if there's another way you want to give, please reach out and I can give you any details you need for any way that is your preference for giving. And literally any amount helps, whatever makes sense for you in your current financial situation. I would just love it. I don't have commercials on here, and I don't make money from any of this, and it's a lot of work, and it is a labor of love. It's something that I love to do, but it is a lot. And if you're part of the community of listening to these podcasts, it would be so cool if you could also be part of my financial support. If you want to know more details about the money that I currently have and what I need, I talk about that pretty openly on my personal podcast. So if you want to hear those details, you can start listening to those, or my email newsletter. You could sign up for my email newsletter. There's a link to that in my Instagram bio, and I send those out usually once a month, and I give more details about my money as well, and just tell fun stories and things God is doing. So yeah, thanks for listening to this. Thanks for considering donating, and back to the podcast. Did you like a lot of styles?
Growing up, I was a competition kid.
Okay.
Competitive dancing, so primarily tap, jazz, ballet.
Okay.
And lyrical. Because of my age, when I was younger, hip hop and contemporary were not really that much of a thing.
Okay.
Not mainstream, I should say. Contemporary was kind of like starting to make its way when I was in high school as a style. Hip hop obviously has been around longer than that, but it just wasn't mainstream.
Okay.
Meaning, like, when I started going to conventions in high school, then they're like, oh, there's hip hop teachers or hip hop classes.
Okay.
So that was like a newer thing for me. Even when I moved to LA, it was newer to me. So like high school and after, hip hop and contemporary styles in particular were newish to me, even though they were extensions of other styles that I had done.
Okay. So when you were out here, were you taking, I mean, Millennium is so hip hop heavy. Were you taking a lot of hip hop?
I was, but at the time there still is.
Yeah,
I'm not in class as regularly as I was years ago, but I would say the majority of like my first couple years out here when I was like living at the studio, everybody thought I worked at Millennium. I never did, not even a work study.
You just lived there practically.
I would take like a ballet class, a contemporary or lyrical class, a couple hip-hop classes, people like Jason Wright, Kenneth Marquise. Gus Carr used to teach a jazz and jazz funk class. Blake McGrath used to teach a jazz funk class. So we had like a kind of mixed bag of different styles and teachers.
Okay.
So it was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when you were doing all that, and even just in moving out here, did you have a specific goal of like, this is what I want to end up doing with dance?
Yeah, so when I was pursuing dance, that was like my first 5 years out here, so between 2003 and 2008, and I didn't have a car. Moved out here with no car, just like gung-ho, we can do this, I don't care.
It's rough in LA like that.
Would never do that again. That's why people that don't have cars, I'm like, do you need a ride?
Yeah.
But I was pursuing the dance industry. Obviously, I didn't know a lot at the time, so I've learned a lot over the years. But at the time, I'm just like, oh, I want to go on tour with Justin Timberlake. I want to dance for Celine Dion. Dream job. But no, literally. And so the first 5 years, I was taking class full-time, working a regular job part-time, and pursuing dance, going to auditions. I did get signed and then would go on some auditions. Fun story is actually... I went to this, my agency at the time sent me on an open call audition for Christina Aguilera.
Nice.
I'm 5'10".
Oh, I forgot she's short. Right?
But it was an open call, and sometimes, like, for those of you that are familiar with the industry at all, sometimes it's good just to go show your face, like, maybe have a choreographer or somebody, like, see you, know who you are. So I was like, well, we're just going to go. It's an open call. Obviously did not book that job, but it's a fun story to tell because I'm 5'10", and Christina Aguilera is, like, 5'2", maybe. I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to get hired for that job. But okay, we'll just go.
Unless the look is like with a bunch of tall dancers.
I don't think she's ever had anybody taller than her. If like an inch, maybe. But except for guys, but for females.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's always a fun random story to tell.
That's funny. So did you start getting like auditions pretty quickly when you were out here?
Yeah, my agency, to be honest, at the time that I had for a bit was not like the most supportive. You have to kind of find like who's really like on your team and will send you out on stuff. So at the time it was just kind of like, oh, here's this open call. Here's this small audition for this. It was like here and there. So I did a lot of different like kind of random jobs, and then I would do like free stuff with carnival performances.
Yeah.
I choreographed for like a new artist, like so really random gigs.
That's
nothing
cool.
that like I can sit here and be like, you're gonna know 10 things I did on my resume. I danced for Janet Jackson and you know what I mean, Justin Timberlake. Like you're gonna be like, who's this?
Yeah, but it sounds like you had a lot going on that was giving you a lot of experience when you first got here.
A lot of
and
learning
had you
experience.
already had experience choreographing?
I've always enjoyed choreographing. even ever since like early years in high school, we would have to choreograph like a group project in school.
Okay.
And then my dance studio in Virginia Beach, she would sometimes kind of put us on the spot and be like, choreograph a couple 8 counts, just like for fun to get our brains working. So I always enjoyed it, and I was told that I was good at it. And then it was just kind of something that I just learned more of and grew over the years.
Okay. So then you kept going with all these random dance opportunities.
Yep.
And also, brief interlude to say that I do think you're a great choreographer.
Oh, thanks.
I finally got to take Ailish's class because she also teaches sometimes for one movement at these classes. And I took it not that long ago, a few weeks ago or something.
Must have been 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was the last one, I guess. And yeah, loved your choreography.
Thanks.
It was like contemporary-ish. It was contemporary, right? Maybe a little bit of lyrical vibe.
Yeah, lyrical contemporary.
Yeah, which I love. I love a lyrical
always a little mixed
contemporary.
bag.
So it was challenging, but I really, really thought it was very pretty. I loved dancing it. Honestly, wish I could have done it like 18 more rounds.
I know. I was like, we need more time.
I always want like more rounds, but yeah, the song was about laying something down at the altar. So just something you're trying to like give to God or not keep carrying like the
Release.
weight of. And so actually at the beginning of class, Ailish went around and had us each say like what we wanted to lay down or something. And I think I said,
I don't remember.
I
what you
either
said.
said
What did you
fear.
say?
Oh, I said anxiety. That's what I
Oh,
said.
okay.
I said anxiety. And then literally the line in the song is like, fear and anxiety cannot live here. And I was like, oh, this is so good.
Confirmation.
And like that part of the dance, we were just throwing our arms to like move fear and anxiety out of the way. And I was like, yes, it
Get
cannot
outta
live here. So anyway, I just loved the like meaning of the song and I thought it was so pretty. So really, really enjoyed that. And you're a great teacher,
Thank
good at
you.
answering questions and explaining things. And I think everyone really liked it seemed. So anyway, just a little plug for you.
I do my best.
But back to what we were saying. What were we talking about? I wanted to know because you were doing all these little stints when you first got out here with all these dance opportunities and choreographing a little and doing dancing with carnival and different things. So then where did that
was
take
next?
you?
Yeah. So actually in 2008, so like I was saying, I lived out here 2003 to 2008, no car. To make a longer story short, I ended up moving back home, again, quote unquote, home, where my family is now in Houston. In 2008.
And why was that?
A handful of reasons. The 5 years that I was out here, I was like, yeah, I'm not leaving. Like, I'm here. And then some stuff happened around 2008. Nothing super specific that I could even get detailed about right now. It's not even a matter of like whether I want to talk about it. It's just really random things. A combination of random things happened, and I was like, well, I think I'm going to leave for a little bit, and then we'll see if I, move back out. So I was actually gone from LA 2008 to 2010. I was in Houston for a year with my family, and then my dad, I swear he doesn't hop jobs like this, but my dad temporarily took a job in Palm Springs for a year. And I said, oh, well, I'll move out there with you for a year while you figure it out. My mom's like, I'm not selling the house and moving to California. They live in Texas. So she's like, we're not moving to California. I'm not quitting my job, selling the house, uprooting our life unless you know that we're staying there because California is expensive. So I was like, well, I'll go with you. And I was working at Cheesecake Factory at the time in Houston.
Were you still trying to dance while you were in Houston? Or
No,
no?
I taught a little bit at a studio out there. So I was teaching, but I wasn't pursuing dance in Houston.
Okay.
And I was working part-time as a server at Cheesecake Factory. And so when my dad took this job in Palm Springs, I was like, well, I'll come with you for a little bit. I'll be closer to LA if I want to go take class, visit friends, whatever. And so I transferred to the Cheesecake Factory in Rancho Mirage and was working part-time there, and then found a studio to teach at out there that I loved. And the owner was great. All the kids there were great that I taught. And so we were there for a year. My dad said, okay, well, this job, not so much. Going back to Houston, took a different job back home. And then I ended up moving back to LA.
Oh, you were like, I'm close enough by. Now I just want to go back.
Yeah, I would like drive out for a day or two, take class, stay the night, whatever. And I just missed it. And I knew that I missed it, obviously. But the doors just opened, everything aligned for me to be able to come back. A friend of mine had booked a job in New York. She was like, I need to sublet my place. Will you watch my cats? So there we are.
Perfect.
So that's how I came back here in 2010. I did have a car at the time. Praise the Lord. So I did come back in 2010 with a car. And I thought, oh, well, I'm moving back here. Everything, lined up. And I'm supposed to be pursuing dance again. And so I started pursuing dance again. But after, I would say like a year to 2 years, I felt like God was kind of shifting things. And so I took a step back. It was like a really, really awkward time for me because dance has been my life forever. And so I was like, well, what do I do now? Like, I didn't know what else I was or what I was interested in doing. And dance will always be a huge part of my life, no matter what, whether I'm pursuing the industry or it in a career in any way. So it did kind of shift away from me fully pursuing it. And even taking class all the time. I still took class, but not as much. So now, fast forward to the original question.
Oh, yeah. What are you doing now is what I originally
But that's
asked.
why I was like, we have to go back to get to where we are now because it's 2026. Right now, I am managing Evolution Dance Studios. I'm really only there 3 days a week.
Oh, I didn't even know you did that.
I know, yeah. Yeah, so I started here a couple years ago coming back from the pandemic. I've been serving part-time for a long time. That's always been like my flexible side gig for bills. Mm-hmm. So I've been serving consistently for probably like 18 years.
Wow.
Oh, gosh. But bills, LA.
Yeah.
And so coming back out of the pandemic, I was like, well, I was serving a lot, like 4 or 5 days a week at least. And I was getting older. My body was feeling it more. And I was like, yeah, not so much. Just, I don't want to be there every day. And even mentally, it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
So I cut back on my schedule at the restaurant from like 4 or 5 days a week to 2 days a week. And I took a part-time job at Evolution and then eventually became manager here. And I'm here like 3 days a week and I'm at the restaurant 2 days a week. So I have like my 2 different worlds, part-time jobs. And then as far as what dance looks like for me now, it's dance ministry.
Yeah.
And then occasionally still taking classes, which is wild because I'll go take a class. If I take one class in a week, it's like, oh my gosh, who are you? And going from, basically full-time taking class to this is like so wild.
Yeah. Can you share a little bit about what made you feel like God was changing your path of like you pursuing dance in a different way when you first started, or?
I don't know.
Did you just have like a feeling?
It was just a knowing. Yeah, it was a knowing. And I knew, I'll say this, I guess this is the best way to answer this. I grew up very, like self-doubt, insecurities, very not sure about who I was. It's taken me a long time to even get to where I am now and what people see on the outside. But growing up, I was very insecure, had a lot of self-doubt about my own image and all that stuff. So pursuing the dance industry, when you are not confident in who you are, confident in what you look like, your body image, whatever, all of those things, it can tear you down.
Yeah.
So that was part of it, was like, am I mentally ready to do the things that I want to do in the industry? That was a lot of it. And then the other part was also like, am I really okay with the financial instability of what this brings?
Yeah.
Because industry jobs in general, for those of you that don't know, it's not necessarily the most financially stable job.
It's not?
Not so much. It can be for people, but general consensus is like, you could book the most amazing job. You could go on tour with Taylor Swift for 2 years, do the most amazing tour, get paid well, get treated well, come back and you're like, what's next?
Yeah.
That's legit most people's stories.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky and you book another job right away or, consistently, that's great. But that's not everyone's story. So the instability thing, like after years of like being in LA, experiencing more, being around the industry more, pursuing it more, you start to kind of question like, do I really want to do this? Like, I love dance, but it was decreasing my passion for dance.
Yeah.
Which can happen with a lot of people, where you're pursuing something that you love or have always loved, and then when you actually start pursuing it as a career and you're trying to take into account all of the practical things or the financial part of it, you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Hello, everyone. I wanted to remind you quickly that if you haven't bought my book, The Tracy in LA Newsletters 2010, please get it. It's on Amazon. You can get the paperback version or you can get the Kindle version. It is a compilation of a bunch of actual letters I wrote and sent in the actual mail back in 2010, when I was first living in LA pursuing acting. A bunch of my friends who didn't live in LA thought it was so interesting that I was pursuing acting and wanted to hear more about it. So I basically just am super vulnerable. I talk about all the things I was going through, the doubts I was having, the struggles I was having, finding agents, getting auditions. making friends, visiting different churches, like totally just pour myself out in these letters. And I didn't really necessarily think I would ever publish them, but I went back all these years later and decided to edit them, change some names, and make it in a way where I could actually publish it and release it to the public. So that's what this is. I'm working on the 2011 letters right now. I have quite a few years that I did this, and people really liked it when I did it initially. And now I've gotten some good feedback on the book as well, even from people that like never read it initially or didn't know me back then. It sort of feels like a period piece now because it's like from 2010. So some of the language I use is just different. And, you know, I talk about burned CDs and things like that. So anyway, I think it's kind of fun and hopefully you could relate because most of you probably are in LA doing similar things. So I hope you can get it and enjoy it. And if you like it, please leave a review on Amazon and yeah, let me know what you think, and thank you for your support. And then how did you end up finding 1LA?
I had, Michael was a good friend of mine that I was talking about earlier. He was already at 1LA at the time.
Okay.
And then I had one or two other friends. So I had 2 or 3 friends at the time that were going there, and I had heard about it. I used to go to Oasis. Love Oasis.
I used to go to
Shout
Oasis.
Out to a lot of people used to go to Oasis.
Yeah,
I still have friends at Oasis now.
They had a really good dance team, and it was kind of before I was like really pursuing dance. But what's her face that led it there?
I'm not sure who you're thinking of because I know some other people. Probably
Leslie Scott.
Oh, Leslie Scott used to. Yeah.
Yeah, she used to do free classes there. It was like Wednesday nights, and I was a complete beginner dancer, but she taught advanced hip hop classes, but I didn't have money because I was pursuing acting. So I was like, I'm going to go to this free class that's at my church. And I was like so beginner. I would get like 1 or 2 8 counts and be like, I don't know what's happening anymore. So
and
I would
Leslie is like a one and a two.
Oh, so, she's so fast, and I loved her. But I was like, I would like stand in the back because I didn't know what was going on, and I would get frustrated. But I went every single week, and I remember, and then at the end of it, she would have us like sit down and we would do like a nice like heartfelt discussion or something. And one time, and she didn't even know me. I probably never even actually talked to her because I didn't even know the etiquette of like saying thank you to the dance teacher, or like I didn't know anything about that. So I don't think I ever even talked to her. We were all sitting down one time during one of the discussions, and she just randomly looks at me. I don't know what we were talking about in general, but she was like, and you need to start standing in the front.
Well,
and
she called you out.
Spoke to me because I realized, like, yeah, I literally can't see. Like, I'm standing in the back, but I was too insecure because I'm like, but
you're like,
I
don't want to be in the front.
And actually, I've always remembered that. And since going back into trying to train and dance, like, everyone who knows me, like, I'm always trying to stand in the front. Obviously, I can't always because they make us switch around and whatever. But like, I've really taken that in, and it's funny to think that there was a time when I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, no, I want to like learn as much as I can, and even if I'm struggling, I just want to be close to like what I'm trying to learn. But anyway, she made such a difference in my life, and I was never a part of that dance team because I was nowhere near like the level that they were, but I remember always watching them and being like, they're so good. I love watching them.
Yeah, so the time that I was there, I don't remember. They've gone through different phases with like their dance ministry stuff too. So I don't really remember if much was happening at the time when I was there. I was never a part of anything, but I do know some people that have been a part of it over the years. Yeah. So shout out to Oasis.
Anyway, shout out to Oasis. I did love that church. I moved away and came back, but I went there for like 4 years, and I used to run the slides. I would be in the back room, and they were like, I would run the worship slides.
I love that.
Sometimes 3 services in a row, and I'd be like falling asleep.
Yeah. You're like,
but I did kind of like it. Anyways, okay, Oasis, you used to go there.
Yeah, I went to Oasis for a little bit before I moved when I left LA.
Oh, okay.
And then when I came back, I was like, oh, I'm still going to go to Oasis because that's the church I'm familiar with. I enjoy it. And then I went with a different friend, not Michael, my friend Jay, to like a midweek service at 1 at the old building. Okay. And then that was that. I'm like, yep, this is where I'm supposed to be.
That's how I was when I visited Oasis. I actually couldn't find a church I liked for a really long time. Then I went to Oasis for one service and was like, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. So it was actually hard when I changed from there. But okay, and you knew they had a dance team right away because your friends were probably part of it.
Yeah, that's when it was all kind of stirring up and starting at the time.
Oh yeah, it was like starting.
Yeah.
And then, what would you say, did you have a different feeling being a part of that dance team in the beginning, even before you started leading it? Were you like, oh, this is refreshing to be in this kind of environment with dance? Or were you like, this is different?
No, it was very new for me. So As far as anything like church or dance ministry related, I had zero experience in that department.
Okay.
At the time, even the churches that I had gone to, I had never been a part of if there was a dance ministry or anything. So it was very new for me. So like I was saying, when I started going in 2011 to one, we had the Red Scarf Christmas production. Michael asked me to be a part of that. So we had this huge, there must have been like 40 of us dancing at least in this opening piece, I think. And there were so many dancers in that piece, and he asked me to be a part of it. And I'll never forget, like, the song that we did was like an up-tempo Kirk Franklin song, like super hype and happy. And as soon as we like finished it, I broke into tears, like literally on stage. It was like da 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 boom, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, I just was overwhelmed with emotion, and it hit me like in such a different way than. I mean, obviously, like, dance is very near and dear to my heart, and I felt other emotions with dance classes and combos and all the things and choreography, but it just was different. So from that point on, that was like the turning point for me where I'm like, this feels different. It felt right. And so I just kind of leaned into that, and then everything unfolded from there.
Wow. That's so cool. I feel that after, like, I've just recently started performing in dance because I really didn't perform on stage at all before. And I've experienced just from even just songs that don't even mean like that much to me necessarily, but I just like feeling like I'm going to cry or I'm tearing at the end because I'm just like, I did it. But then to have a song that's really powerful and meaningful too to you, or just something that carries with it like a purpose or like a strong meaning, to have that too. And also with the amount of dancers, I can imagine like when there's just like a huge group and they're all doing this thing that's so cool where you're just like, we did it. And the emotion, like I could
could
feel
not
that.
stop. Like, we're walking off stage, everybody's like, woo-hoo! And
you're
I'm
like
just sobbing. Like, I'm a hot mess. I'm like, what is happening?
Wow.
It was wild. Also, sidebar, very proud of you. I've kind of told you this before, but like, this is our first time having a full-on long conversation. And I've seen your dance journey unfold, and you post all the time on Instagram, your combos from class you're going to. And I know I've briefly said this to you before, but it's so fun to watch your journey because I can see from the dance teacher perspective, I can see the growth.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage you in that and just say, like, keep going, keep showing up, because a lot of people, I say this a lot when I teach, but a lot of people are like, oh, I want to dance or I want to take a dance class, but they're so scared of like being out of their, uncomfortable and awkward. You have to go through that phase. If you haven't been dancing a long time and you're older, like I know people that started dancing in their 20s and they're full-time industry people now, which is unheard of for the most part. Yeah. So I just want to encourage you in that, because a lot of people won't even take that step of showing up and going to class. Yeah. And you're like, I'm here. I'm going to stand in the front. I'm going to post a combo. I don't care if I got it perfect or not. It doesn't matter. And it's fun because we get to, those of us that follow you and watch those videos, we get to see the journey and we get to see the growth in that, which is wild.
Aw, thank you so much.
So keep going.
I love posting it. I love watching I shouldn't say I love watching my own growth. Sometimes I don't. But it's so crazy because I don't have this goal of like, oh, I want to be like a professional dancer necessarily. I do really like teaching dance. That's something I would love to do as like one of the many things that I do. Yeah. But God just gave me such a joy with training in dance, and it was kind of out of nowhere, and I felt like I was supposed to do it, but I didn't really know why. Yeah. I didn't know it was going to turn into just like meeting all these dancers, doing a dance podcast. Like, I didn't really know that God had this whole vision that I was just like, this is what I feel called to. We'll see like where it goes, but it's been really cool. Just the opportunities I've been given, and I'm less obsessed with like a specific result as I used to be. It's more just like, okay, I feel called to this. I guess I'll do it. I feel called to this. I guess I'll do it. And
that can be really good though.
Yeah, just haven't stopped with dance, because even when I ran out of money, it was like free class here, free class here, free class here.
And like, where are the free classes? Or, hey, do you have a guest spot?
Literally. And I don't even know.
That's half the reason I don't take classes right now, because I don't want to pay for them.
Exactly. They're so expensive.
Like, love you guys. It's so expensive.
So, and when I had my corporate job, I was spending like so much money on dance.
I'm sure.
And when God called me away from that, I was scared I was going to lose dance. But I felt like God said, well, you need to lay dance down. at the altar.
Yep, lay it down at the altar, literally. Give it to you.
Not because he was telling me not to do it, but just to trust him with like whatever he provides is what he wants me to do, and it's fine. And just to put that first if it's not dance. And then what happened after I left my corporate job, he continued to give me money for dance for a long time, and then I ran out of money, but he said, oh, here's
all these free
30,000 free classes. Like literally people will ask me like, how do you find all these free classes? And I'm like, I don't know.
Word of mouth.
I keep seeing them on Instagram. People send them to me because they know I'm looking for them. I have had really generous, gracious teachers who've given me free class, and I'm like, I guess that's the door God wants me to go in right now, so that's the kind of dance I'm going to train in right now. So I'm especially grateful for all the one movement classes and dancing disciples, especially because like I haven't been training in hip-hop a lot lately, but now I'm like, okay, I want to get consistent on these Fridays and start to get better because I do want to grow in that. And actually, the LA Unbound show that I'm going to be in the summer, I got cast in 2 pieces that are like, one is like K-pop / hip-hop, and one is musical theater / hip-hop.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, last time I was not in anything hip-hop, really. Yeah. So good thing I'm taking these classes.
You have more experience now.
And hopefully I can do okay. But anyway, okay, and then I know we have to like go in a few minutes, but I feel like there's something else I'm supposed to ask you. Oh, this is what I want to ask you. The life that you're living right now, there's like 3 main things you're doing. The Evolution Studios management, the restaurant, and then running like One Movement and leadership there. Is this like you're so content with this, or are you kind of like love it, but this is something I'm hoping for in the future with dance or
and
with
we're done. Thank
anything.
you so much.
I know. I'm like, and you have 2 minutes to answer this question.
The short answer is I've learned to be content in every season. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Is this something that I would like to continue for the next couple of years? No.
Okay. Okay.
Especially the restaurant part.
Okay.
But I've been doing my best to get clarity and alignment from God and really lean into what I feel like He's opening the door or calling me to, even if it's like super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because usually that's the case, which is really fun. But I've just been really like focused on praying for, okay, like what's next? I would really love to be married and have a family, but that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
So we're trusting God's timing.
Yeah.
And as far as work, I want to do things that I enjoy, that I'm passionate about, and where I feel like God wants me to be. And so that's that answer.
Okay. I love that. I can relate in all kinds of ways of just like learning how to be content, but there's still like things, whether you know exactly what they are or you have an idea of things you would like. And for me, I always am like, okay, this is what I think I want, but God, like, what do you want? Because I know it's going to be better than what I want. Like, I always have these ideas, but you always have better ones. But sometimes I'm like ready to get to that next whatever it is, but can we do it soon?
I know. And in us in our human forms, we have these ideas and these goals of things that we want to do. And we're like, God, this is what I want my life to look like. And He's like, actually, that's not where I'm taking you. So just sit back and enjoy the ride. But yeah, I think there's something to be said about knowing how to be content in every season and the ups and downs and in the shifts and the changes of like, okay, I don't really want to be doing this right now, or not forever, or not for a long time, but to still be able to find the peace and the joy and the content in those seasons, because, you know, life's not always going to be, it's not always going to look like what you want it to look like.
Yeah.
So knowing how to be at peace with that, even in the midst of the journey, is like the most important thing, I think.
And I just want to say, this is the last thing we'll say because we got to go. I just want to commend you because I feel like I can really see that you're just serving the Lord with your life. And
Thank
like,
you.
As a Christian, like that is the most important thing. And you've encouraged me so much. I think the main reason I got to know you pretty fast is because you were, I don't know if you just started talking to me pretty quickly.
Probably,
or
I don't know.
You just always have like reached out and encouraged me. And I think for a while I didn't even know what your name was, but I'm like, she always
probably.
like...
You're like that girl?
But you stood out to me as someone who is just kind and encouraging and looked out for other people. And so now I know what to pray for you for because there's some things you're still wanting and stuff. So that's really cool to be able to share that so that we could be praying for you. But I want to say that like I've been so blessed by you, and I'm sure you're blessing so many people like in your ministry. So I think that's really cool, and I'm sure God is like so pleased with that. Even if to the world it's like oh, it's just these random things you do. But it's not.
But
like,
it's not.
Amazing.
It's a lot bigger than that. So, yeah.
Anyways, okay. Well, it'll be exciting to see how Ailish's life unfolds. Yay. Thank you for sharing and like just being vulnerable and being transparent. And it was so cool to have you. And
we're about to go take class. She's going to love Antoine so much.
I'm so excited. Okay, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
And I actually finally got to take Ailish's class.
Finally. Pause for.
Pause. Okay, literally a guy just came up to my window. This has never happened.
He's back. We left it.
Oh my gosh.
We had a visitor.
A visitor came to my car 2 times to tell me to back up because he couldn't get out of his spot. And
he was smushed.
I don't think I was that close, but I think he was really close to the car in front of him. And so 2 different times he came out and asked me to back up my car.
Can you move a little bit more?
He was probably
like, what is even happening
in this crazy car?